All right, so I want to introduce Dean and Jennifer, who've been out a couple times to the brokerage to do a few Zoom meetings over the last few years. They come from Century 21 Granite Realty up in different regions in the Kawarthas, but they really cover a large area of cottage country. And since we have so many of our clients looking to get into that marketplace, we thought what a great opportunity to partner with really great agents up in the Kawarthas. So they come and talk to us about what they can help your clients with in that marketplace. And right now, we were just talking about it. The way the market is shifting, we have to look at opportunities. And I always say at least twice a year, minimum, send out something as an opportunity up in cottage country to your full database, your sphere of influence, just to see if there's anybody sitting there in the weeds looking for something. And you'd be surprised how many people engage with you and call you and say, yeah, I was actually interested in possibly taking a look up north, and here's an opportunity where just with a Passover, and I'm going to say that because it's the best opportunity for you to get your clients into either a recreational property, maybe they're downsizing, maybe they're moving up north, but to refer your business to somebody who really knows the area. I always highly suggest that, and it's the easiest money you'll ever make because it's a handover, it's a referral fee, and it's to somebody who's going to look after your people, opposed to, some of the times we find that agent up there and then they kind of drop the ball. Well, I'll tell you right now, we've already had, I don't know how many referrals up to Dean and Jennifer to help the clients, and just the testimonials that come back are amazing. So I want to turn it over to Dean and Jennifer for their presentation and to answer any questions that you guys have as well. And we'll go from there.
Well,
thank you.
yeah, thanks, Aaron, with all those kind words. I mean, maybe we should just end it right now and retire at the top, right?
It's only going down from here.
Yeah, that's right. No, we're thrilled to come back again. And, we just love talking about anything to do with cottages, cottage country. And it's because we live here. We live this lifestyle, and we like to share the concept of having just a wonderful life like we have, whether it be full-time, part-time, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, really our driving sort of motive is to help people. And when we do, it's sharing that lifestyle. I mean, I could wax poetically forever about this, but it's just nice. Jenny? Okay. That's it. All right.
I mean, sure. What do you say after that? So yeah, do we want to just?
Well, why don't we jump into? We've got a presentation, Aaron.
We're going to go through it pretty quickly. I'm not sure how many people were on the call the last time we were here, so we'll kind of skim through pretty high level, and then we've got a bit of a market update for everybody, just to kind of give you an idea of we're concentrating on waterfront specific, but it gives you an idea of what's happening right now in our market. And then we can open it up to questions, and please feel free, if you've got questions along the way, just unmute, just speak up. We're pretty casual about that.
And if we don't have the answers, we'll get them at some point.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just get going here. So there is our screen.
Can you see that, Aaron?
Yep, everything looks good.
Wonderful. Let's go into present mode so you don't see all the other stuff. There we go.
Okay, so here's an opportunity for everyone in your brokerage to earn passive income through our cottage country referral network. Everyone loves passive income, I would suspect. Yeah.
So wouldn't it be nice, especially in today's day and age with gas prices and real estate prices going down, so you're not making as much money, but wouldn't it be nice to have a passive income model where you're not dealing with the tire kickers who just want to go on a Sunday drive and check out the market and look at a few cottages and maybe get some Kawartha dairy ice cream on the way, wasting your time, wasting your gas. Clients who are serious, but because of their budget, they are now expanding out of the area. So now you're driving not just an hour into the Kawarthas, but 2 hours into Bancroft or 3 hours into Muskoka or wherever it is, just because their location is creeping out with their budget. Not just that, but you're also dealing with unfamiliar systems and markets that you may not be trading in regularly, so you may not know exactly what is going on. Things like septics, wells, shore road allowances, high water marks, whatever.
Yeah.
Piers,
Potable
different
water.
foundations, potable water.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little pieces that go into understanding a cottage property.
Mhm.
So those are some things that could be a detractor for you. So we can take that off your plate.
Yeah. So what's in it for you? Well, we say strengthened relationships with your clients. I've heard a couple people said, well, geez, I wouldn't want to refer out to you guys because then we'll lose that client to you and then you'll sort of take over with them in the urban environment. Well, not at all. Like
They're still your client.
yeah, they're still your client and we don't know anything about your market. So in fact, if someone wanted to purchase something or list something in your market, we'd refer to you. I mean, because we don't know it.
Yeah, they're
And
still
we
your
want to
client.
serve, the best interest of the client. So basically you're going to strengthen your relationship with your client because you're doing the best for them. And we want to make sure that they're going to come back to you with a big thank you. Thanks for introducing us to these cottage country people. Okay.
Safety. I mean, we understand what to look for, what to ask for when it comes to the different intricacies of cottage properties and the uniqueness of each individual property. So any potential risks and liabilities are assumed by us, not by you. And the best is you get the benefit of the passive income. We'll give you 25% referral fee while you get to stay home and deal with either spending time with your family, dealing with local clients, and you don't have to be a road warrior.
Well, and the other thing too is we'll keep you in the loop. So if you send us a referral, we have regular follow-ups with you. This is what's happening. We haven't found any properties yet. We haven't gone touring yet. We haven't done this or this, that, whatever. We want to keep you in the loop so you know what's happening, right? Because it's again about relationships. Right? Any questions so far, Aaron? Okay.
Wonderful.
We'll just keep rolling along then.
Okay, so we do, as Aaron said, cover a very broad area. We go as far west as Aurelia, as far east as Peterborough, Lakefield area,
Buckhorn.
as far north as Carnarvon, Bracebridge. I mean, we will trade in that area. Our specialty is Trent Severn Waterway. So this little piece along here, so the kind of Highway 7 north in this little area along the Trent Severn Waterway. These are the lakes that we're most familiar with. That's where we do, I would say, 90% of our business.
And we're speaking to you from right there at the moment. So we know water. There's a lot of it around us.
So yeah, so what we're asking is for you to partner with us. We'll help you grow your business. We've got a little QR code here if anyone's interested. It's just a quick download. It's a little checklist of things that you should be thinking about if you decide that, hey, no, we're cool. We are comfortable driving. You want to come up to cottage country, by all means. We don't want to take business away. We want to partner. But if you're not interested, there's a little QR code that you can download that'll give you some things to keep in mind or some things to think about if you're showing property in this area.
That's right. Now, this was basically our past presentation, Aaron, but now we're going to add a few slides because I'm sure there's a lot of questions. Well, what's happening to the market in cottage country right now? Okay.
So let's look at that. The cottage country market, I'm assuming it's similar to residential urban environments. I don't know. We have two big seasons. We've got a huge push from traditional markets. This is take the pandemic, take COVID out of the equation. In a traditional market, we're very, very busy from March until May. And then it pretty much settles down until mid to late August, where it picks up again and we get another bubble of activity in the fall until October, November, and then it peters out for the winter. So, and that's traditionally, you've got your people who want to buy a cottage and want to be in this year, so they're really aggressive and active in the spring. People who have cottages are at them during the summer, or you're
Mhm.
doing your thing and it just settles down. And then in the fall, anyone who's had their last hurrah is listing, or anyone who maybe didn't get in the spring as their last push, and then we get some activity, and then we all just hibernate for the winter. So that's a traditional market. And you can kind of see that here in 2020, it did, I mean, it went a little bit crazy, but your number of sales kind of peaked in, I would say that's probably August,
And then came back down.
at about 50, and then dropped down over the winter as it normally does. And then 2021 was just off the rails, an outlier altogether, because it started hard and then it pretty much stayed hard until we kind of dropped down in
Same
January.
cycle, right?
Same cycle. And
Yeah.
again, now, yeah, so there's our spring market. We had our bump, and now we're going to settle in for the rest of the summer and probably pick up again in the fall. Fingers crossed, we've gone back to a traditional market. That being said, that's kind of our number of sales. So we're sitting right now at about, I mean, July.
It's not a
we
big
finished,
sample size.
we finished June with about 14 sales.
It's not a big sample size, so
It's not a big sample
keep that in
size.
mind.
Then July's just there. So if you look at average sale prices, yeah, you were saying, Dean, in early 2020,
Yeah.
you picked up a cottage for
$500,000,
$500,000.
450, yeah.
Yeah, and then at the crazy height, February was our craziest month. We were looking at 1.3 for the average price of a cottage. And then the bottom just fell off, and we're sitting right now somewhere around 875, 900,000 is kind of roughly our average sale price for a waterfront. And that's across the board. We didn't compare 4-season, 3-season. This is just
Riverfront to
this is
lakefront.
just a property, a waterfront property.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's going on there. And then if you look at we also looked at days on market, months of inventory. And yeah, you're right. Our average days on market was probably close to 70 days on market back in April 2020. And then we went down to like practically
Right, crazy.
crazy numbers. And then now we're kind of working our way back up. I would say this is a bit skewed. We're probably a lot higher than this. Waterfront does tend to sell a little better and a little faster than off water. So yeah, that 20, maybe 25 days on market as average seems about right. And then if you look at our months of inventory, we went from
Look at
a
the bookends.
huge-
Look at the bookends on that, though.
yeah, we went
Isn't that
from
interesting?
a significant buyer's market, and we crashed right down and hovered into a seller's market until just June. Now we're kind of, I mean, again, this is July, and we're not even in the middle of the month yet, and we're at about 7 months of inventory, whether that's just cleaning up of properties that were listed in June that will sell this much. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think things are pointing towards more of a buyer's market than a seller's
Well,
market.
you know what? It's interesting too. I mean, here's what we're saying to our buyers, Aaron, is here's opportunity. Okay.
Huge opportunity right now.
Opportunity to get into the waterfront market, because we're not seeing as much competition, if any, right? So, here's the opportunity to put a condition in, right? Here's an opportunity to negotiate. Here's an opportunity to look at multiple properties because their inventory's up, and pick and choose a little bit. The past 2 years, there's been such a lack of waterfront up here that, and some buyers are just craving it so much. I mean, they were buying stuff in the swamp and
But-
paying a lot for swampland.
not
It was
even
like
that.
Shrekville or something.
Well, you keep saying that, but I mean, honestly, there were properties, maybe this is the way it works in the city. I don't deal in city, but I know up here, it's a little more casual, a little more relaxed when it comes to buying properties. And we were showing properties. We had 15-minute showings, which is just ridiculous. I don't know how you can walk a property in 15 minutes, come and decide to put an offer in competition with no conditions.
Yeah,
Like
it happened.
it was nutty.
It
And it
happened.
was happening. So now people are actually having the opportunity to go back for second
Yeah.
viewings before they make a decision.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're talking to all of our buyers and explaining to them the opportunity they have here. Some of them are taking advantage. Some of them are still expecting the bottom to fall even more, but
That's not
I
realistic.
don't think that, I don't see how that can happen. I mean, crazier things have happened. I
Here-
don't know.
Here's the thing too with waterfront to keep in mind. Some properties will stay in, some cottages will stay in the family for generations, literally generations, until it comes time where, for whatever reason, now grandma and grandpa passed away, and they've passed it down to their kids, but there's 4 kids, and they can't come to terms with sharing of the cottage property. So finally, they just say, okay, let's liquidate it. Well, that property hasn't seen any other change of ownership in 40 or 50 years. They're very rare. So as a buyer, if you see that opportunity, it's usually a gem of a waterfront gem,
Yeah.
right? Because they don't really change hands that often. Yeah, so that's kind of our take on it.
The people who are suffering, I guess, the most are the people who just bought property. But if they're buying property, and like we always say, like everyone says, if you're buying the property, and especially if you're buying a cottage property, it's not something that you generally buy to flip. You're
Right.
buying it either as an investment long term, or you're going to be using it long term. So, I mean, yes, okay, so we've seen a bit of a decrease in value here. I think we're down about 32% from the highs in January, February. But if you're holding on to it long term,
Right.
it will continue to appreciate. You're taking a little bit of a hit right now, but over the long term, it will appreciate. And like Dean said, a lot of these properties, people are buying them, and they're legacy properties. They're buying them for the long haul. They're looking for a place where their children can grow up and bring their children back. So it's not something that is a quick decision, a spur of the moment. These are properties that people hang on to. So it's not, this does not deter me. It doesn't scare me. And really, we're still up. If you look at
Pre-pandemic.
you're still up a good 30-40%
Yeah.
over the 2 years, which is a great return on investment. 30% year over year is pretty significant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Certainly is.
I had a client buy a property in Bracebridge in May of 2020, and it was 350,000, and they had 75 feet lakefront, and that's really where the value of the property was. So when you say waterfront, like that word kind of scares me, because there are so many variations of what a waterfront is, and
Yes.
whether or not people can actually use it, you know, for children to swim in. And I understand that the real value in a waterfront property is if you can actually swim in the water, if it's actually something that you can, you know, enjoy. And so, is there any way to determine how these sales reflect that, or if you could just kind of jump in there and.
I like it's an interesting point, because the waterfront is so, the usage of the waterfront is so personal to the client, because yes, it may not be swimmable, but if you're an older couple, an older guy who just wants to fish, you don't care about the swimmability.
That's right.
So the waterfront, I mean, everybody, the gold standard, of course, clean water, deep at the dock, shallow entry with some beachfront for kids. I mean,
Sunsets.
it's so specific to the buyer.
It's subjective. It really is, Vera. And this graph it's just a very high level
It's
thing.
average.
Like,
It's average. So of course, sorry, Dean, go
No.
ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, this waterfront's not created equal. Like, some would be on a river, but some buyers prefer the river. It's quieter, maybe. They for them, right? Others, of course, yeah, they want that swimmability. They've got a wakeboard boat, so they need a bigger body of water. Some fishermen like a quieter lake. So it's really sort of case by case.
And actually, it's lake by lake.
It is.
Because
even
again,
within each lake.
Yeah, because we're on the Trent Severn, and because of that has some, I wouldn't say cachet, but it has more
It's more
value,
value.
because you can navigate between how many lakes? 12 lakes between, or 12
Well,
water
you can
bodies.
go
I don't
anywhere in
know.
the world from the Trent Severn water.
So there you go. Yeah. So there's some value there as opposed to a landlocked lake or a non-motorized lake. There's,
But if the client prefers the quieter lake, they might want that non-motorized. So it's, it's
so
tough.
these numbers are average. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off again.
Go, it's fine.
But it's a representation of.
Do it all the
it's a-
time. You're good at it.
Yeah, and
Is it
the
better?
other question I'd like to ask is like, there are investors out there as well, because there are so many cottages for rent.
Mhm.
And then when you speak to owners, they tell me that people that are renting cottages are they don't look for privacy. All they want is a dock and a sandy beach where they
And
can.
the other thing they
Beds,
want
number-
is
number
number
of
of beds. Yes.
Yeah. So there's investors out there as well. I think more so than maybe people realize. I don't know, but
Oh,
I don't
yes.
know.
We've helped some in fact purchase, and they have the specific plan of Airbnb, right? And then some just wish to rent it a few weeks of the year to help pay for their taxes. And anyone like that, though, we really like to have a serious discussion with them to understand their expectations, because they might expect that they can rent it 52 weeks of the year, when in fact that's not the case. The winter rental market really
It's
isn't as
very
strong as the summer. Right now it's prime time. Oh yeah, like it's gangbusters, but we have to have that conversation with them. And that's the other thing, we're very process driven, because we really want to understand each individual client, what their criteria is in a cottage and what they're looking for. I mean, it's we can just sometimes assume, oh, you want a cottage, you're going to use it for this, this, and this, but no, not necessarily. Everyone's the same.
And going back to the rental piece, you really have to be careful where you're shopping. A lot of communities, a lot of different areas are really having a backlash on the Airbnb.
Sure.
A lot of cottagers are up in arms. There's a lot of talks and fights going on between cottagers and cities about
Well, it hasn't been outlawed like
in the city of Kawartha Lakes, but in
No.
other areas it has been
they've
outlawed.
tightened some rules. They've tightened some rules, so
So
we
you've
want
got
to
to be
look into that.
careful of where you're shopping.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Paula, you want to go ahead?
Yes, I have a question. About a rental market, how is the rent? I'm assuming the rental market around Wasaga Beach must be good because of the Blue Mountain. So winter time shouldn't be that much of issue. Am I right? Because you have both summer and winter.
We don't trade in that area,
You want area?
Blue Mountain,
No, sorry, we don't go up to
but
Collingwood.
it would, yeah. if
That's a
you were-
different animal for
If you were
sure.
buying a rental property there, I would assume that you would be using it year round because you've got the water and the ski.
Well, we have Sir Sam's Inn in Halliburton here, and anything close to that, to the ski hill, most
Does better.
definitely will do better. Yeah.
Okay.
Kawartha's
The
pretty
other
flat.
question, you mentioned about 30% price appreciation within 2 years. Looking at the chart that you put, it shows,
No, it's not.
correct me if I'm wrong, because my impression is more than 100%. From April 2020
Yes.
to 22, it's even,
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
so it's
Yeah.
not 30%.
No, it's not.
No, we're saying the decrease is around the.
Yeah,
30.
right now sorry, that was my mistake. I must have spewed the wrong number. But yeah, this decrease here is about 32%.
32%.
Yeah.
But it's still over 100 from 22,
Yes,
20.
yes.
Yeah.
And we just noticed that even though it's kind of leveling off here, we don't expect it to go back down to the pre-pandemic levels. So
No,
anyone says, oh, I want to deal with a cottage,
right now.
buy it now, because what's going to happen in another 2 years? It's likely going to start to climb up, because there's only so much waterfront out there. It's like the developer can't just go and say, okay, we're going to take this farmland and make it a lake and then sell properties around it. Waterfront's a limited commodity.
How much would you say the difference of the price would be in terms of, I know this is very general question, between a property right on the water or just on the other side of the street? It would be a big, huge different?
Oh, so like
Like a
water,
waterfront and a back lot.
yeah, so we call them a back lot that may have access to the water or
Yes.
deeded water access. Sometimes there's public water access. There's many different variables. Excuse me, buyers can certainly save significantly by purchasing a back lot. And sometimes we say to them that if their budget is limited, and then, you know, we've had buyers say, I want that waterfront dream. And then they realize, no, they can't afford it. So we always suggest, well, okay, let's look at somewhere where you can get deeded water access, get close to the water, like a back.
Yeah, so you're looking at, if you're looking at average, let's say an average on the lake of a cottage at, let's just say $1 million,
Yeah.
just to give a general idea. So nice lake, nice water, $1 million. A back lot might be 650,
Yeah,
Oh,
7.
7, depends on,
There's
again,
so many
depends on
variables.
the size of the house, what the house,
Yes.
the condition of the home. Like there are so many variables. Like you could probably pick up a tear down. You could pick up a tear down for 450, 400, or
Yeah.
something that would need
Yeah.
some work to it.
Yeah,
yeah, great. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
Anyone else?
I'll take
Everybody's
that.
so quiet today.
Yeah, let's just stop the share. There we go.
Yeah, we're back.
30 people on and you're all so quiet.
Yeah, hit us. Like we're up here in cottage country. We rarely get to see anyone ever. So just to have this interaction is so exciting for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
can I ask another question?
Of
Go
course.
ahead, Vera.
So I read recently that there's a possibility that the cottage country properties will be seeing a dip in their listing prices. I'm just I'm trying to think that, you know, with travel limits being removed and with the possibility of people traveling more often, although having said that, we know that Toronto Pearson and Air Canada have had their issues. But with the gas prices going up, the cost to even travel to cottage country has to be included too. And so I'm just wondering, like I'm feeling that you're anticipating that's not going to happen.
We haven't, I mean,
Well, can I jump in on that, Jenny? Yeah. So Vera, certainly prices have come down, like we're showing that. Long term, though, yeah, fuel prices will have an effect on our market. Okay. But it really depends on who is purchasing. Like it's not a first time home buyer. If someone's purchasing a recreational property, they likely have the wherewithal and the means to purchase that. Right. Like, so, you know, it's like someone buying a new wakeboard boat. Right. We always go, oh my God, how can they afford all that gas? Well, if they just spend $150,000 on a boat,
they're not
they're not
worried
worried about gas. Right.
Right.
That's something to keep in mind.
And I mean, I don't know all areas of cottage country, but I know that our roads are still busy. Traffic flowing up to cottage country on Friday nights is still,
The Canada Day long weekend, it was
back to back to bumper to
Friday,
bumper.
sorry, it's a Thursday night because Canada Day was Friday. Friday was busy out. Saturday was jammed too. So, and that was when it was what, 2:10 or something.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's true. That's
same
true.
for me. I
I-
work in Newmarket, but I live in Barrie, and on Fridays
Yes.
on the 400, I
Yeah.
can't even tell you. It's
Yeah,
a nightmare.
I drove up to Bracebridge on Thursday, and then on Saturday we drove up to Port Carling, and I was there. There's like I think 3 or 4 real estate agencies in that little town,
Mhm.
like Harvey Callis and Remax and I mean it was just a beautiful place.
Yep.
Cottage country, but anyway, yeah, the traffic was insane for sure.
And so keep this in mind as well. Okay. There's a market here in cottage country we haven't really touched into, but people who are relocating here on a full-time basis. Okay.
Yeah.
They they've had enough of the city. They said, okay, that's it. We're going to pull the plug and we're going to move up to cottage country full-time because we want to change in lifestyle.
Yeah.
So there's that market that's
Whether you're retirees
Yeah,
or you're full-time work from home.
Yeah, it's just gonna keep growing,
Yeah.
right?
Our infrastructure is improving, it's growing, it's getting better, and it's making it more accessible to people.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Wi-Fi earlier. When we relocated from Scarborough 6 years ago, we did exactly that. We
Yeah.
sold the place there, renovated the cottage, brought the kids up here, put them in school full-time, started our new life. When we started that, the Wi-Fi was absolutely horrible. And within 5 years, now we're getting high-speed fiber optic within a month.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Leah here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi. I joined a little bit late. I don't really have specific questions, but putting it out to anybody that's listening in on this, I will have a listing. I don't know exactly the timing of when. There's some discussions happening, but I will have a direct waterfront property coming to the market on Gloucester Pool in the somewhat near future. I'd say within the next maybe 6 months to a year. So if anybody has any interest, just let me know and I can always provide a little bit more. It's really early days, but it's like East Shore Road. Quite kind of a property that I'd want lots of people to know about just based on what you guys are sharing with us today.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Leah. Anyone else? Awesome. Unfortunately, Aaron is still stuck in a meeting with someone last minute, so he apologizes. He can't get back, but
There's a
thank you so
gentleman
much, guys.
Hand up, I think. No?
Oh, another hand? Maybe.
Marco?
Marco, go ahead.
Okay, hi guys. I just
Okay.
need an very general information regarding the prices for 4 season and 3 season.
Mhm.
What the difference is? What how much difference can be between say 3 season and 4 season?
That's
You
a
can
good
provide
question.
this information.
There's a definite distinction between the 3-season and 4-season. I wish I could just give a number out there, but I'll tell you this much: the 4-season has so much more value, and for many reasons. Number one is just financing. Banks generally don't like to take on the 3-season cottage, right, Jenny?
Mhm. Right.
Um, but to put a number on it, it's significant. But it depends on all the areas.
Again, yes,
There's
it's
variables.
a 3-season cottage on a higher end lake with 100 feet of waterfront will still be more expensive than a 4-season on a river in a less desirable area
Exactly.
with a smaller frontage. There are a lot of variables that come into play with determining value for property.
The point that you brought it to me that it was very important that regarding the financing because really 4 season it can be considered as a principal home for somebody like you guys. So it is really important. Thank you for this information.
It is, yeah, you need 3 things for in order to get financing. You need potable water, you need a heat source, and you need some kind of foundation. So you can't be a cottage on piers drawing water from the lake without having any kind of treatment.
And the other consideration too is the access, right? Some of the roads up here aren't plowed in the wintertime. So that will limit you right away as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question if I can pose it to the group, Tina.
Of course, go ahead.
Has anyone ever traded up in this area? And if you have, is there any sort of roadblocks that you ran into? I guess not.
No.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Marco. Go ahead. You're muted.
Jamanacha. Here we go. Okay. So is no, I did a quarter like it's even very hard for me to pronounce it. Quarter Lake. So I did a proceed, and it was really good deal. I got this cottage for something around $285,000. Need renovation. The guy spent about $70,000, and they sold it for something around $750,000 on that one in just in a one season from now. So it was really great experience, and that's why myself I was interested to come in this business. A small thing for myself. I wasn't decided to go for 3 season or 4 season. That's why I asked, and then you provide me the great information. Thank you.
Sure.
Awesome. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Or look for us on the replay. Tina, I'm going to have a shameless plug here. We've sort of revamped our YouTube channel. So I would encourage anyone to check us out. I guess we could send the link to Tina later.
We can, yeah.
Yeah, send it to me and I'll send it out to the group for sure.
We're all about education. So we really like to dive into waterfront and cottage country and off water and everything. And so check that out. And then, of course, we're on Facebook, again, with a lot of educational stuff. So
perfect. Awesome.
If
yes.
anyone
Hi there.
Oh,
this is another Ali. How are you doing?
All right.
Great, thanks.
So I have a question. You talked about the education aspect of it. In terms of the quality of the water, are there any resources that one could use to assess which lake is good for which kind of use?
Well, you know what? I always ask the client first, what are you looking for? Are you looking to fish? Are you looking to swim? Are you looking to go boating? And boating, are you looking at kayaking, canoeing, power boating? All these things come to mind.
oh, did we lose them? Yeah.
Of the Balsam Lake Association, we test our water at 12 sites on this lake, and it is one of the cleanest lakes for E. coli or anything else, because we know we test it. So sometimes a resource, and we'll say this to new-time cottagers or new buyers, is to join those lake associations. Find out who they are, not only join them, but volunteer to help, right? And then you have the inside track. I guess I'm kind of selfish that way. And that's, I mean, I do like to help the community, but I like knowing what's going on the lake and seeing where we can help. Right.
But
Yep,
knowing,
sure.
I think, I'm not sure if that was the question. Did that answer your question?
Kind of. Is there a website or something you could kind of go to a lake and see it's known for this kind of thing? And no.
You can Google it and maybe
For water quality, it's
even like water style, like waterfront. Is it like, are you thinking like weedy lake versus sandy bottom versus rocky? Type of
or the type of fish that could be there, or could be many things, right?
Likely Google that.
Yeah.
You might find it online. We just know, because we're in and out of these lakes all day long, that we kind of know different areas and different lakes that might appeal to specific buyers.
And keep in mind too, I mean, some of the bigger lakes, they all have their own sort of micro ecosystem. That's what we're getting at. Yes. Right. Because there's some weedy areas in our lake, and then there's others that are deeper, some that are rocky,
some that are sandy.
Yeah.
Like, it depends on where you are on every lake.
Yeah.
And even with price values that you can on this lake specifically, prices go anywhere from 700,000 to
4 million.
4 million. So depending on where you are on the lake, and what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
it's,
Someone in the chat.
I see. Okay, great. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you guys. Once again, you're amazing.
Well, we
Thanks
hope
for
this
offering
was
college.
helpful, Tina. We really do. And thank you everyone for attending. And by all means, if you have anyone who needs help up here, we're here. We're here
Or
to
if you have
help
any questions.
Yeah, call us, whatever.
Perfect. And you'll send out the link for me for the YouTube and then I'll pass it along. Okay.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Enjoy the
have a
rest of
great
your day.
day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like our video, please hit the like button, the subscribe, and even the little bell to get notifications, just so you can stay in touch and watch more of these great videos.